I have just really enjoyed my opportunity today to go and take a community walk in the neighborhood where my students live. We're located in the Central Promise neighborhood, and it's a neighborhood I've come to love based on my experiences here since 2013. But it was my goal and my objective today to get the teachers out of the building and into the communities where our students live. So that they could see how the true effects of poverty impact our students every single day. And I was even taken aback by some of the things that I saw, some of the challenges that I'm now aware of with my students, even just coming to school and getting to school on time. My eyes were open to some of the challenges that they're experiencing. And so I have a different outlook. I was sharing with my staff that we're looking through the lens of middle class people. Most teachers and educators are middle class in their community. And so some of the struggles and the effects of poverty, we're not necessarily aware of on a day-to-day basis. So getting out in the community and really walking a day in our students' shoes was my objective today, just to enlighten and to build empathy so that we can disrupt the cycle of poverty. Today we visited what is known as Morris Black, which is previously known as Woodhill, the Woodhill homes of Woodhill Estates. We visited Garden Valley. We visited the 30th projects that are down by Community College. We also went through Outhwaite, Friendly Inn, and that area, and King Kennedy, which is where our Boys and Girls Club is situated.
So today's experience was eye-opening for me as a social worker. Growing up in Cleveland, living here all my life, it was still eye-opening working in with the kids. Now I'm going to be more empathetic. I'm going to look at situations a little differently when they're coming to me with their issues.
Well, one of the things that I noticed today in our field trip that we took for professional development into the neighborhoods where our students live is their bus ride from where they live and to the school. Now, when I was young, the buses that I would take would go through kind of a diverse amount of neighborhoods where I grew up lower middle class, but we would go through some upper middle class neighborhoods to pick up other schoolmates, and I would always see the size of their houses, and that kind of served as somewhat of an inspiration for me when I was younger to think, well, it would be nice to be able to live in a bigger house than what I live in at the time. And I see that our students don't really make that trip. They pretty much see the same type of housing all the way throughout their trip from where they live all the way to the school. So they don't necessarily see that inspiration on a daily basis.
Some of the projects are really kind of run down. And one of the little boys was walking to the store where he had to go to the store and buy toilet paper from the corner store. His mom probably had to pay an arm and a leg for it. She did watch him from the door, but today, on a day where school is supposed to be out, he's dressed in uniform, not sure if he goes to a charter school or a school outside of the district. He's having to get up and walk to the corner store for toilet paper.
Mentioned a lot was just being where we were when we got off the bus, that they felt a little bit unsafe, and that was coming from all of our teachers here. That when we were standing there and there was a conversation, seemed like there was some screaming and yelling going on about a couple 100 feet away. They felt a little nervous about that and were happy to get back on the bus.
Shocked. They didn't really believe that the kids, live like that. I did explain to a couple of them that inside of some of the projects, they have concrete walls, they're small spaces. So they're confined to one or two rooms. So I believe some of them were really shocked.
And that kind of occurred just about every one of the stops. They mentioned that when there was people outside, I noticed my colleagues are kind of looking over their shoulder like, okay, what's happening over here? Is this something that we might need to be concerned about? And that's kind of alarming because here we are, we're adults, we're a group, and we probably should not have had that fear. But to hear that come out of them and then relating that to our students who were there in the morning at 9 a.m., fairly safe time of the day. But what about like at 10 o'clock at night, where these students, they don't have the opportunity to probably venture out of their homes because of the unsafe surroundings where they live.
Another situation was when we were in the projects, they were clearing out stuff and moving, but the trash bins were just filled with trash where they hadn't been emptied.
So we kind of got a feel of that even on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. where there was relatively hardly anybody out. We still had that feeling of unsafe surroundings.
My experience was eye-opening. I've had one of the students ask me where I lived, and I was wondering why she wanted to know where I lived. Well, probably because from Morris Black all the way down to 55th, where Oswald is, you're seeing the same thing. So you're really not seeing something other than what you're used to. So she's curious where I live, how I go about day to day, where I grew up, what my upbringing was like. So for me, it'll be eye-opening, and I'll look at their challenges in a different light.
In dealing with our experience today, I asked teachers to reflect when we got back to the building on how some of their biases and some of their assumptions and prejudices have impacted them in the past, and then what would they be doing moving forward. So I was very pleased to hear teachers say that they have a different outlook, that they have more empathy, that now they have a better understanding of some of the struggles that our students are experiencing, and they have committed themselves to do better and to use different language. I heard one teacher say, when fussing at children about what they eat, a lot of times they're eating snacks and chips and things like that in the morning, and we fuss at them, but it could be that that's all they had. So I was very pleased by some of the conversation that I heard and the reflection that I heard. And it seems as if our objective was met in that we now have a little glimpse into the life that our students have to live day by day.